Hello there and welcome to the Latin Explosion with me, DJ Tuli. And on today's show, we have an amazing artist, percussionist, composer, producer, you name it. He's been in the industry for over 40 years, and it gives me enormous pleasure to introduce to you today none other than Vicente Rivero, or aka PequeñoJohnny. How are you, Jhonny? Thank you so much for accepting our invite to be here with us today.
Oh, thank you very much. It's my pleasure, my honor. I've heard a lot of good things about this program, so I'm ready to go.
Awesome. Right. So, Jhonny, you are well known for being with some amazing bands over these 40 years or more than 40 years in the industry. So, we would like to learn a little bit about your story, your professional career, how it all started. And, I know that you were born in New York, but you're from Puerto Rican parents. And I would like to know how what got you into percussion, or what got you into music, first of all, growing up in New York.
Yeah, of course. I was born in New York City in the barrio in 122nd Street between 2nd and 3rd Avenue. And my family were all dancers. My mother, my father, they all danced. They would go to the Palladium back in the days, and the Hunts Point Palace, and Manhattan Center, and it just keeps going. So I was able to like look at them dance when we had the family gathering like Thanksgiving, Christmas, and so forth. And I would watch them dance. And one day it was a Christmas party in my aunt's house. And after they finished dancing, the music kept on going, and I started to dance. And my father was like, "Whoa, wait a second. Everyone's in a family." So they were so happy to see me dance. Everybody was like, "Wow." And I kept on learning how to dance after that night. My father would teach me, like back in the days, la pachanga, el cha cha cha,
Nice.
boogaloo. So then
Wow.
my aunt did the same thing, and my father was a promoter. And when he noticed I was really good at the age of honestly 9 years old,
Wow.
10 years old, I was dancing mambo. I was dancing.
Wow.
So it impacted him a lot. So what he did was, because he was a promoter, he had his dancers, uh, um, and he would put me as a showcase.
Right.
So, for example, if it was Johnny Pacheco playing that night, after Pacheco would have played the first set, then I would walk in for the show.
And you were
So
9 years old at this stage.
yes, I was that 9 years old. Yeah, and even earlier, I was like, yeah, from 8, 9 years old, I was able to see all these great dancers. Remember back in the days, there's a lot of documentary about the Palladium nightclubs.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was able to, my father would take me to the Palladium, and I was able to see these, the Jewish, the Black Americans. Back in the days, I was a little kid. I was able to see all these contests and all these beautiful dancing. It was like incredible. So it opened up my eyes even more. The reason why my father would take me to those places is so I could learn more. But but what was going on out of all this, that I was dancing in the shows, my father's nightclubs, venues, the percussion will always like pull me over. Like, I was always in love with the percussion. I was in love with the timbal, with the bongos, with the congas. So eventually I was always next to the stage. So once the band would finish, take a break,
Uh-huh.
I would go up to the congas and start banging on them, or the bongos or timbal. I was a little boy
Wow.
making all these noise.
Interesting. So they would actually, at such a tender age, they would allow you in these places. That was allowed at the time, or
Yeah,
did they have to sneak you in?
no, not at all, not at all. As long as I didn't get near the bar, I had, I was with my parents.
Right.
They would never leave me alone. They would, when they would dance, they know I'm in a stage,
Right.
um, like looking at the musician, whatever.
Yeah.
So they was always focusing on me, of course.
Right. Interesting. That's amazing. So then you said that you developed this love for the percussions. So was it your dad who taught you, or I know a story about you hearing about Jose Manuel Senior. So was that your first inspiration, or how did it come about?
Yeah. So what happened was one time we were walking down on Second Avenue, my father and myself, walking down the street, going home. And all of a sudden, this person comes up to my father, and he's all suited up with a tie, and he was elegant. He looked as sharp. So
Nice.
he had a black bag with him, like a black box. Anyway, so they finished the conversation. What I was hearing on the conversation was about music. So then, once they say bye to each other, whatever, I asked my father, pops. So who's that man that I heard you talking about music? And he tells me, son, that's Jose Manuel Senior, the banjo player of Machito. So
Wow.
Jose Manuel Senior lived right up the block where I used to live.
Right.
So they would bump to each other many times, of course, in nightclubs. But to make the story short, so when I was walking home with my dad, I had in my mind, wow, man, I want to be like him when I grow up. I wanna look sharp. I just had that as a young boy, thinking that I want to look sharp and then I want to be a musician. So when we got home, I asked my dad, Dad, why don't you do me a favor, put some Machito music on? My father had hundreds of records. He was always updated with the new albums when they would come out. So he put the album on, and I just fell in love with the playing of Jose Manuel. And basically, yeah, he really you know inspired
Inspired.
me. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. And from that first moment, so did you start playing the congas first or the bongos after?
That's a good question. I was like, when you're a little kid, you want to do everything. You want to play baseball, you want to play basketball, you want to be a musician. I wanted to be all that, right? But I was very fortunate that I had in my way of thinking, I wanted to play congas as well. So I picked up the bongos first,
Right.
uh, right? It was a little bit even more difficult for me to play. I was a young kid. The bongos was too big for my legs. So
Ah,
then, I was switching to congas. So where I live in 122nd in Second and Third Avenue, there was a park right across the street from my house, which I was able to see from my window, the park. So on the weekends, rumberos will gather around.
right.
So there was always rumba right in front of my house, right in front of me, in the park. So you know, I was able to 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 go with my father when he would come out of work. He would take me to the park, and I would look at these rumberos, and I would ask questions like how you do the tumbao, how you do the wawanko. So I just kept on like that for years and years. I learned on my own by listening to albums and asking questions. That's how I learned. Back in the days, we didn't have no YouTube, no computer. There was nothing,
Wow.
no teachers. So basically, it was taught on your own by listening to records.
And how
Listening.
many hours a day would you say you used to practice at the beginning?
Oh, that was another thing. So before I hit the instruments in my house, I had to do my homework. That was number one. Do your homework, and then you go
Yes.
bang on the bongos, you go bang on the congas, and I would do that for hours because I just loved it. I just would do that for hours. So then, at
How
one
about your
point,
neighbors?
they were pretty cool. They were pretty cool because in the building where I was living at that time, um, it was everybody knew each other. A lot of Boricuas, and I was born and raised in a barrio where we all the majority of the Latinos were Puerto
Yes.
Rican. So it was cool. Everybody knew my father. As a matter of fact, they would even say, "Why is it Johnny not practicing today?" Like the neighbor when I won't practice, and it was because I was outside playing basketball or something.
Right, right. Amazing. Now, so fast forwards a few years and you're a teenager, and then am I right in thinking that at the age of 14 you joined Orquesta Colón?
Yeah, this is like I was 13 years old, and what happened was my father would also take me to the beaches on the weekends, like Sunday it was for us to go to the park, Randall's Island, Jefferson Park, all the beaches. Why? Because rumberos would gather around. So, and yeah, then of course they enjoy the beach. My mother loved the beach and my father as well. So one day on a Sunday, we were at Orchard Beach, and and that day the rumberos were Milton Caldona, rest in peace. Everybody that I'm going to mention right now, they all they rest in peace. Milton Caldona, Frankie Malave, Frankie Rodriguez, Cachete Maldonado, Eladio Perez. These are five Puerto Ricans uh, that uh, has played with the best musicians in New York as well as Puerto Rico. So Milton Caldona, when he saw me, I was there. I was watching him. When Milton Caldona saw me, he pulled me over, and I grabbed the quinto. And all of a sudden, Gus Colon, the owner, the band leader of Orquesta Colon, was there. And once I finished, he comes up to me. He's telling me, "Hey, man, that was pretty cool. You know, how old are you? Blah blah blah." And that I'm looking for a conga player, and it would be nice if you would like to join the band. So I tell him, "Man, it sounds exciting, but you have to speak to my father about it. You have to talk to them."
And how
So
old was he at the time? How old was Gus?
yeah, Gus Cologne must have been 17.
So
Yeah, he
also
was
quite young.
just a couple of years older than me. And yeah, so I took him to my father. That same week we had rehearsals, and then I stood there for 2 years. I was able to record the first album. They record, uh, I think like three numbers. The conga player that was before me
Right.
recorded three songs. I was able to finish the album. I finished the album, which was Creeping Up, and then the second album that I
Adam.
recorded was Adan y Eva. So yeah, and that's how I started. I was like, that
Wow.
was
So you
at
were
that
recording at the age of 14, 15.
right.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah,
And this was in New York. And
right.
then what happened soon after that when you turned
So
15?
yeah, so now this is like the youngest band in New York City. We were playing all over, like old block parties and summer festivals and nightclubs as well. And I was getting used to this, man. I was loving it. I was also my uh, the beginning of my let me see, 13, 14. So at the age of 15, my father decides to go to Puerto Rico.
Right.
So now I was getting
A
used
big
to it.
shock to you, I guess. A big shock to you at that age when you're a teenager, you have all of your friends in New York.
Right. I was in my high school, finishing my fourth year. I was going on my fourth year. Uh, so now the decisions that my parents um, did to decide to live to Puerto Rico was a tough one for me,
Okay.
due to the fact that I didn't speak any Spanish.
Wow.
I spoke Spanish, but what is it called? New Yorican Spanish or
Right.
Spanglish? It
Wow.
was terrible. It was so terrible. Anyway, so now we go to Puerto Rico, and I'm I'm really missing New York, missing my friends, missing everything. I was like, wow, what's gonna happen to my life? I found out by going to school, which was really hard for me because, like I said, I didn't speak English. I mean, I didn't speak Spanish. I didn't write Spanish. Just knew a little bit. I was in my fourth, my high school. So when I go to Spanish class, the first time I go to Spanish class, uh, they, I go in, I walk in, and they are studying the book of Don Quixote,
Wow.
and that's a, I didn't know who was Don Quixote. It's like a 500 page. They were over like 300 page. It was so crazy for me. It was tough for me.
Wow.
But found out, I found out through going to school. I was asking questions like, does anybody know where could I go and jam? What's any rumba? Because
Wow.
that was the way I was grow. I grew up in New York. I found a place where on Sundays they were jamming. Here we
Nice
go.
one.
I was able to go to one place, which was El Tuca in Ponce, and I started jamming. And so one day, another time, I go with my friend Rafi Rizari. We go to the beach, el Dia de San Juan in San Juan, and we just hanging out. We young, we young. We just hanging out. We found out on that Dia de San Juan,
Hmm.
uh, we found out that La Sonora Ponceña was looking for a conga player and a bongo player.
All right.
So, so what happened was when I was with Orquesta Colón 3 times, we were able to play with La Sonora Ponceña. When I was in the band, we
Oh,
traveled the same bus
right.
to Connecticut, to Washington, to Boston.
So
So
you know them.
I knew them already.
Right.
So Rafi was telling me, "Why don't you call him? Why don't you call him?" And I'm like, "Oh man, I don't know if I could do that job, man." La Sonora Ponceña is very. He telling me, "Yes, of course you could do it." Anyway, make the story short, I call up Kike Luca and I tell him who I am. And he says, "Yeah, I do remember you. I remember you.
Wow.
You was a bonga player." So then he tells me, "Unfortunately, we have a conga player. We don't have a bongo player." And he asks me, "Do you play bongos?" I said, "Yeah, that was one of my first instruments." And during that same week, Kike Luca uh, popped up to my house and he brought the cassette for me to learn like 6, 7 songs,
Wow.
and just I locked into my little house that my mother had next to the big house, and I would practice every day until I went to rehearsal, and that same day, and I went with my father. I was 16 years old,
Wow. Still quite young. My
and
goodness.
that same night, Kike Luca gives me money for me to buy the uniforms. He told me, go to this place and you're gonna find the uniforms there. And then the rest is history.
Amazing. That's
It's crazy, right?
wonderful. And then obviously you stayed with Sonora Ponceña for over 16 years. So how was that journey with them? I mean, working with one of the best pianists, Latin pianists, Papa Luca, and some amazing artists within the band as well. So how was that experience, that career within Sonora Ponceña?
So before I get to that, I remember when I was supposed to leave to New York to go to Puerto Rico, I always said to my parents, could you, I didn't have any other choice. I was going to Puerto Rico. So I would tell them, man, could you imagine if, okay, well, I go to Puerto Rico and I get a chance to play with La Sonora Ponceña? I spoke about this with my parents,
Wow.
and like the dream, it came true. So, playing with La Sonora Ponceña for 16 years, traveling the globe, basically, South America and, the United States, it was a blessing. I was able to even learn more about the music business, right? I was able to watch the productions that Papaluca was producing. I was able to learn all that um, and it just gave me more uh, more love to the music. It
Mhm.
just gave me more excitement to the music. It just gave me more experience. It gave me everything that I wanted. Just gave me so much love, man. This is what I wanted to do since I was a young kid, and to be able to play with La Sonora Ponceña and record with them 18 albums,
18
uh,
albums, wow.
it's intense, and um, another thing that happened with them was that I played at the Madison Square Garden like 4 or 5 times with them. So it was a big
Amazing.
deal. It was a big deal for me.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
What's the capacity for Madison Square Gardens?
I think I would say on top of my head, I think 30,000, maybe 25. I'm really not too sure about it. But when we did perform there, it was like with the biggest artists in the salsa field. Yeah, it was sold out for sure all the
And you
time.
were how old then? I mean, still a kid, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah. I was still a kid. I think the first time I went to Madison Square Garden, I must have been like 20 years old. So, yeah, I think I was 20 years old when I first did the first performance at the Madison Square Garden. Um, mm, what's so interesting about all this was, as a young kid at the age of 16, you know, in Puerto Rico, the traveling is very difficult. If you don't have a
Mhm.
car, it's very hard for you to get to places. So once I joined La Sonora Ponceña, I saved my money. I saved my money, and like in 7 8 months, I was able to buy myself a brand new car.
Nice,
So, so
beautiful.
yeah, so it just everything was coming to place at the right time, at the right moment of my life.
Amazing. And whilst in Puerto Rico, so after the 16 years with Sonora Ponceña, you also worked with some you went solo or freelance as you would say. And you also worked with some amazing musicians, the like of Che Feliciano and I think Bobby Valentin you also work with.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, of course.
tell us a little bit about your contributions or your collaborations with these other amazing artists.
Yeah. When I left Sonora Ponceña was in 1990, and the reason why I left them is because I wanted to do other things. I think 16 years was it, not enough, but I thought if I wanted to do what I want to do, which is play other instruments and play with other artists, it was time for me to leave. So when I did that, yes, automatically the doors open for me as for recording sessions. I was recording like right now. I have like 120 something CDs recordings,
Wow.
and I was able to record like with the biggest size, with Bobby Valentin, with Mike Quintana, with Alberto Santiago, Justo Ventacú, with
Wow.
Lucecita Benitez, with Carlos Tremera, rest in peace. And it just keeps going. The top of my head, I just mentioned 8. But so, yeah, I wanted to do that, and I was able to do that. Uh, I remember when I used to get like a call for a recording section, um, they would ask me, uh, are you available? Let's suppose tomorrow. Tomorrow I have a session. Are you available at this time? I say, yeah, of course. The first thing they will always say, most of the producers would tell me, bring your third drum. So I think that when playing with La Sonora Ponceña, I brought another drum. I created a style with La Sonora Ponceña,
Wow.
which was so differently what was going on with the congueros. So that really helped me to get into the studios, and other producers wanted to hear my style and the productions.
Wow.
So it just opened up really good for me for the recording sessions.
That's incredible. That's amazing. And
Yeah.
so, what is your fondest memory, would you say, of having gone solo, and during that period, what would you say was a moment where you thought, my God, I could pinch myself right now. I can't believe I'm doing this.
Well, after well, la Sonora Ponceña, there's a few of them that I can remember. Madison Square Garden was killing.
Yes, yes,
Also,
of course.
I remember going to Venezuela. I remember the love of
Nice.
the people in Venezuela, like in many countries, man. I must say that look, I'm just gonna mention just a few. I hope I could make everybody happy. But look, Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Mexico, these are some countries that
Oh,
really,
cool.
uh, not only that, they know basically the day you was born. They know your story. They know
Right,
your
right.
your life basically on your music, and that is so cool that you could go to a country and you can see the love, the expressions in their face when you play a song. They sing coro with you, or the other one brings the cowbell. It is just beautiful, man. So yeah, that was I remember that, and then yeah, to have many great
Memories.
memories. Yeah, yeah,
Amazing. And so fast forwarding now to
yeah,
your time with Eddie Palmieri. So
yeah.
you've moved from one amazing pianist to another amazing pianist.
That's so
So
crazy. Yeah.
how did that come about?
Yeah, all I can say is that I've been blessed. I uh, as a young kid, I studied La Perfecta, Ripamira La Perfecta. I danced to his music. My father danced to his music, but I'd never, in my wildest dreams, I swear, never thought I would ever play with Mr. Eddie Palmieri. And it's just been a blessing. With Eddie Palmieri, now I'm traveling. I'm traveling the globe. Like, I'm talking about Hong Kong, Japan, Australia. eh, um,
England?
yes, of course.
I think I
you
was
know,
there. I was there
you,
last time you guys came
o-
to the UK.
okay, cool, cool. So with Eddie, my traveling because of this, Hong Kong, it just goes crazy with Eddie. And this is this is this has been like one of my best times ever, due to the fact that Eddie's a person that respects musicians. Not that Ponceña didn't, but I'm just talking now about what I'm living now.
Right.
Uh, Eddie's a person that the first thing that he wants to make sure is that we are comfortable. Uh, and
Right.
by doing that, we also know that he wants us comfortable, and we also know that he wants 100% on stage, and that's exactly what we do. We give our 100% on stage. Uh, uh, Not only that, he's the best band leader that pays the best. Like the money is off the hook. The best pay. So,
Nice.
for example, another thing that I want to say, which is very important, is that if he has three bands. He's got the Latin Jazz Group. He's got the La Perfecta
Hmm.
Do, and he's got the Salsa Big Band. So I play all three of them. And when we
Nice.
do travel, we don't know when, for example, I would know which band I'm going to be traveling because I get the email and then I'll see, okay, I'm traveling with this band. Is how cool could that be that you could play with the master Eddie Palmer, and he's got three different bands.
Wow.
You know what I mean? With the Latin Jazz Group, he's a 10th Grammy Award winner.
Wow.
Uh, and I got some beautiful experience. When I'm gonna just say one right now. The most like one of the best experience that we ever had. Me is that when we go to the Japan at the Blue Note, we go with the 15 musicians. This
Wow.
is the salsa group. They never took Eddie Palmieri's jazz group. They love salsa.
Yes, yes. Japan is huge in salsa.
So we go out there with the salsa band. And let
Amazing.
me tell you, that's big bucks, man. We're talking about 15 rooms. This is not like I'm gonna
Around the
share.
corner.
Yeah, I'm not gonna share a room with you. This is talking about 15 rooms. This is a five-star hotel.
No
I'm,
way.
I'm in the big time, baby.
Amazing. If you
Yeah.
need anyone to carry the luggage, I'm available. Japan is incredible. So yeah, they are very much into their music in Japan, and they're
Mm,
very appreciative of Latin music as well. So
mm,
that's amazing. And
mm.
now with Eddie, obviously, I guess all this has come to a stall with the pandemic. So, but you guys are still performing because I saw very recently you did an online concert. I mean, for obviously it's a different experience now to watch you guys online. But
Right.
how was it for you? I mean, I bet that now we all having to adapt to the new normal as they call it, and
Yeah.
it must be, I don't know, a total different experience for you as well to be performing there with you know th- to cameras, but the clapping at the end. But it felt really nice. It felt really intimate, like we were just there and you just were performing just for us. So, have you
I
done a few of these recently?
Yeah, I would say the last time before the pandemic came in, the coronavirus, uh, we were playing in Puerto Rico in el Día Nacional de la Salsa Z93.
Oh yes, of
Actually,
course.
that was March
March.
14th. That
Yes.
was March 14th. That's it. That was when we found out that coronavirus was hitting Puerto Rico. That's when we found out that coronavirus was, already hit New York. So when that was the last time we performed. So
Wow.
we were able to get there. We went there. We came back, and now the coronavirus is all over the place. Whatever, meaning we were stuck without music. So could you imagine, musicians like us that live only by music, and we can't perform, and it just took half of your heart away. Your
Yes.
soul was gone. Like half of your soul was gone. So now we have, we are struggling in a way of mentally, right? We all know that everybody's frustrated and it's like, what's going on? So when I get the email from Eddie Palmieri II, the manager of Eddie Palmieri's. Eddie Palmieri II is Eddie Palmieri's son. He's the manager. I get this email telling us, guess what, guy, blah, blah, blah. We got this performance, virtual performance. We're going to do this. And I was like, whoa, that is so cool. I can't wait to play. I miss
Yes.
them.
Yes.
See, we would talk on the phone like every week. Eddie would always call us. And it's a beautiful thing when you have a band leader that makes calls, man. How you guys are doing? You guys need anything? I remember I'm here. It's lovely. So now we have this opportunity to do this virtual concert, and I found out it's La Perfecta too, con La Perfecta O. So now when you see that, you could see the happiness of you could see the the music is on point, man. I mean, who's not going to enjoy playing with Eddie Palmieri? Whichever
Absolutely.
band, whichever band he wants to play. So it's always amazing for me. It's always my honor. I just like want more.
Amazing, amazing. No, it was a fantastic concert to watch. My goodness me, it was incredible. And the chess player, all of you guys, it was just like yes,
Yeah,
yes. Oh my God, it was amazing. And I like the connection between Luke and Eddie
yeah,
because they've
that's
been
another thing.
working for many years, haven't they, as well?
No,
Luke,
no, no. Lucas, I think Lucas has, I would say 9 years now. He was 20. He was 21 when he joined the band. I have a funny feeling it's got to be from 9 or 10 years. So
yeah, probably over 9 for sure. Because the concert I went to, Luke was already in the band.
Lucas,
He was
yeah,
a kid. He looked like a kid.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, that. Yeah. I mean, when I think the one that brought in Lucas to Eddie Palmieri, I think it was Brian Lynch. Um, so yeah, yeah, a very talented young man, which I love dearly, which I use as well. Um, from the new generation, he's like on top of the
Yes.
new generation. I love him I love him, man. He's
Ah,
amazing cat. He's an amazing cat.
amazing. And talking now with these difficult times of the pandemic, I guess, most musicians at the moment have used also this time to create, to produce, and it's been a time for reflecting and but also for creating. And you have an album that has just recently come out. So was this made during the pandemic or way before the pandemic?
What happened with this album, which is Little Johnny Rivero, um, Golpe Duro, features Anthony Almonte. I
Good.
started this in 2018.
All
Uh,
right. Wow.
yeah, it took me, 2 years basically to. This record was supposed to come out in March, but because of what happened with the pandemic, the coronavirus, I stopped it. Spoke to the company. It's not the best thing to take it out now. People are dying. People are suffering. So we stopped the project, and it
Right.
just came out. It just came out a month ago. It came out on October 23rd. And so yeah, this record is a record when started in 2018, and it's funny because um, what happened with this, I was looking for a singer, right? I didn't have one. So I'm over here with my friend Jeffrey Lopez. He's a timbalero that played with me many years, which has been playing with Willie Colon for
Wow.
maybe 10, 12 years, maybe now with Willie. And so he was playing with me that night, and we went to rehearsal. We want to rehearse with my band, and I'm talking to him like, I need a singer because I'm going to start doing a new production. So he comes up, he tells me, there's a new kid in the block that plays congas and sings very well. I said, really? There's not too many musicians, conga players and sing, that do both very
Wow.
well. He's telling me that he does it very well. That's amazing. So to make the story short, I asked him, "Do you know his name?" He says, "Johnny, I do not remember his name." And I said, "So let's look him up on Facebook." Because he was just telling me that, when you need something, go to Facebook. Right? So I went to Facebook and I went to my page, and because the first one that pops up is Anthony
And
Almonte. So I asked him, is this the guy that you're talking about? He says, yes, that's him. I couldn't believe it. It's the first one that pops up because his name is Anthony. So ABCDEF is the first one that
that's
popped up.
good.
So I was like, no way, man. Are you serious? And Jeffrey said, bro, that's the kid. So I tell Jeffrey, I used to teach his I used to teach him when he was 12 years old.
Wow.
So I did teach Anthony for 2 years and a half. So check this out. I call him. I told him, listen, Anthony, what's up? He said, Maestro, so good to hear from you, blah, 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 blah. And I tell him, I just found out that you're a singer. He said, yeah, I sing a little bit. I said, that's not what I'm told. I'm saying, they're telling me you sing very well. Anyway, so I talked to him, listen, I'm doing this project. I need to talk to you. Could you come over to my house the next day? He said, absolutely. He pops up. Um, I have two songs already in mind with the arrangements, the whole 9 yards. And so what I did was before that, I did some research. I said, let me look at it and let me see if I find him singing. And absolutely, I found out just like I fell in love. I said, I can't believe this guy sings as good as I'm hearing it.
Beautiful voice, by the way. Beautiful voice. Love
Yeah.
it.
So now I got him and I speak to him, blah blah blah. And then I found out the next day in my house, he's a songwriter. He finished college. Uh, once I gave him classes um, for 2 years and a half. I left the school. What happened with his story was that I was teaching in Kennedy High School. All of a sudden, this lady pops up with two young kids walking, uh, going towards the school, and I was like walking into the school, and she calls me and she tells me, "Hi, Johnny. We know who you are. I know who you are. This is my kids, and he plays conga and he plays timbales, and and we would love for you, if you could give classes to my son. But there's one problem. My son is in public school. I'm giving it. I'm teaching high school, so
Right,
he's not allowed to go into the high school,
right,
right?
right.
Because he's not taking classes there. So what I did, to make the story short, I said, listen, her name is excuse me, oh my God, so oh my God, just forgot her name. Unbelievable.
But
Oh my God. My mind went blank. Okay, to me.
Anthony's mom.
He's gonna tell me you forgot mommy's name if he did this interview. Oh my God, my mind went blank on her name. Forgive me.
We
So
call
anyway,
her Anthony's mom for now.
yeah, I think about, and so I tell her, listen, bring him, come back tomorrow, come through the back door behind the school. I'm gonna open up
Wow.
the door and you're gonna come into my class. And we did that for 2 years and a half.
No way.
Yeah. He was 12
Wow.
years old. So now I found out he's a songwriter. He's a great musician, percussionist, and as you heard the album. I'm very thrilled to have him, and it's a blessing.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful album, and highly recommended. That track that is called "Quien te ha dicho?"
Hmm.
Gorgeous track, absolutely beautiful. And I just saw a video, you featuring a video of that track. And it's interesting because I'm pretty sure when we, say few years down the line, when we see this video, I mean, it's an amazing track, and I can't wait. When I first listened to it, I just thought, oh my God, this isn't fair because this is such a track that I would like not to just listen to, but to dance to. It's not a track that you just want to be sat down, you just want to get up and dance with this particular track. But it's interesting that the video, it was a group from Spain, a dance group from Spain, who did a choreography to that. And it's interesting because they're all wearing beautiful outfits, but they're all wearing masks.
That's right.
So,
Yeah, it is.
say 20 years down the line and somebody watches this, like, wow, so it's like they were wearing masks, but it's interesting. But anyway, nonetheless, amazing, amazing track, and highly recommend this new album. It's called Golpe Duro, Jhonny
Yeah,
Rivero.
yes. Quien te ha dicho is a composition of me. I composed that song, and just for bringing that a little bit, um, um, the whole album was danceable. It's coming back to the roots of the cha cha cha, like guaracha song, and jazz Latino. You know, there's 9 songs original. They're all danceable. But remember, I used to be a dancer, so
Yeah.
I made
Awesome.
sure, I made sure this album was danceable. All the songs. So Kim Taricho, I wanted to bring the feel, that vibe of the violins and the cello back in the '80s. Remember, there was a lot of salsa groups that were using the strings.
Right.
So we've been like quiet about that. So I said, let me bring in the strings, and
Wow.
it's a love, is a love song, but with swing. The arrangement is with swing
Yes.
and very modern. So yeah,
No,
yeah,
you should
I'm
be
pretty.
very proud because a very beautiful track and a very beautiful album. So thank you for making amazing stuff. And
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's very beautiful. So well done. And guys, check it out because it's not to be missed. It's to be in our collections.
And to my surprise, Anthony Almonte, all of a sudden he tells me, "Guess what, Johnny? I have some people, some great friends of me in Valencia that are doing a video on this song." And I was, what? So the song came out, let's suppose today.
Uh-huh.
And like in 4 days, they were rehearsing. Once they heard the song, they just wanted to do the video dance clip video,
Nice.
and
That's
it was
beautiful.
beautiful. So yeah,
And you mentioned that this album, all 9 songs are original. Were they all written by you? I know that you're quite prolific as well with the music writing. I mean, you've written over 200 songs.
right,
So
that's correct.
were all these tracks written by you, or did you have collaborations from Anthony as well? And
Yeah, on this album, I wanted to, because see, when Anthony came into my life on this album, I wanted to have him comfortable. I needed for him to, uh, you know, to do what he wants to do. It's not all about me. It's not about. I am the band leader, but I always like to share my ideas, and I do that all the time. Now that Anthony's with me, we do that all the time. Uh, I respect his opinion. I love his opinion. Is just an amazing. I think that you could call us uh, el duo, the
the
duo
dynamic duo.
in a humble way, right? In a nice humble way. So on this album, Anthony Almonte has 2 songs. We have Jeremy Bosch
Yeah.
that also gave me 1 song. Eddie Palmieri, which is number 4 track, Mi Corazón Te Llama, where on this album I have the guest artist on this album is Mr. Eddie Palmieri, which is
Wow.
another blessing. When I spoke to his son, telling him, "Listen, I need to finish. I have one more song to record. I need one more song to record." And I was wondering if your father could be part of this, this album. And he said, as long as he told me, I don't see any problem with that. As long as it's a song that my father composed, I said, he told me there's no problem. So I tell him, I remember back in the days when my mother would send me to the grocery store in the summertime. You would go to the grocery store, and the grocery store had a radio. And what would you hear? You would hear Eddie Palmieri con la perfecta, mi corazón te llama. You will go
Wow.
to the parks, people when they had the radio, you will corazón te llama. The beach, mi corazón te llama. So I remember that specifically tune, song. And so it came up. I said, it would be nice if we could get mi corazón te llama. And he tells me, man, my dad is gonna like that very much. The following day, he called me, told me my dad is willing to record.
Amazing. Oh, that's
Yeah,
wonderful. That's a great
yeah,
story. And then you
yeah.
said that Jimmy Bosch also wrote a
Yeah.
song?
Jeremy.
Oh,
Jeremy
Jeremy.
by
Sorry, Jeremy, not
Jeremy by
Jimmy.
yeah. No, this album, Jeremy Bush. What happened with Jerry was that I had him. I had him doing quarter, and then another. He was gonna do quarter for the whole album, right? I was connected with him. I told Jerry, "Hey, Jeremy, not let's do this with Anthony. They're really good friends as well. We all good friends." So one day we were, picking our tunes for this album. And one day he comes with Jeremy Bosch, and Anthony tells me, Jhonny, Jeremy has a tune there that I like for you to hear. So I asked him, so what's the title? And he says, Listo para la pelea. And I said, wow, that's a strong title.
Wow.
Yeah, Listo para la pelea. That's like you want to fight somebody,
Ready
and
to
yeah,
fight.
I'm prepare to fight. So it was like, I don't know about that title. And then he said, listen to the song. Once I heard, I said, let's do it absolutely. So I got that in there, and yeah, this album is which I call my cartel, el cartel. This is my cartel, which are the best musicians, basically the best musicians from Puerto Rico, Venezuela, and New
Nice.
York. I have like 6 Venezuelan musicians on this album. This is what
Awesome. Representing.
that's right, and I'm proud to say so. And the arranger on this album is from Venezuela, which play piano. His name is Rona Roy Quiroz.
Nice.
Great, great pianist and a great arranger.
Fantastic. Oh, that's awesome. That's great. Now, there's one point that we haven't touched, and that
Hmm.
is your nickname. PequeñoJohnny. I mean, for me, you probably have every time that somebody says your name. So, one, who gave you that name? And two, I bet that every time, I mean, whenever I hear your name, I can't help but do it in the sound of that track. You know, it's like really difficult just to say it, PequeñoJohnny, and not go PequeñoJohnny, PequeñoJohnny. So,
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about your nickname.
Yeah, well, my when I started dancing, my father was looking for a stage name, and and yo soy Juan Vicente, Juan Vicente. So because of Juan Vicente, my father gave me Jhonny, which is back in the days in New York, it's common, Jhonny. So he put me Little Jhonny. I was in growing. I was just stuck into I was a young little boy that was in growing. So that it fit perfect the name Little Jhonny. And so what's happening here on this track, Golpe Duro, the title of the album, there's a part where what you just finished mentioning. There's a part where I'm taking a solo, and I do budi budi bing, which is pequeño Johnny.
Right.
That came that came a long time ago with La Sonora Ponceña, a song which is titled it's called Yambeke. For the first time ever, a conga player does a riff with a melody and says his name. That was Papa Luca's idea. So what I did was I repeated it now in my album.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, it's a repeat. That's why it says y se repite la historia. So I'm repeating the history.
Of that particular episode. Nice.
Yeah, so I'm bringing that
That's your brand.
exactly.
That
Yeah,
sound is your
right.
brand as well.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
and the song. I mean, the song Golpe Duro. Going back to that title is because back in the days, in Colombia, I once I would finish playing that song Yambeque with la Ponceña, the fans would call me Pequeño Johnny Golpe Duro or Pequeño Johnny Gigante or Gigante. It has so many nicknames that would come up, and that always stood in my mind and my back of my head. Golpe Duro sounds great.
Right.
I decided not to write the song and then uh, uh, make the title of the album.
Yeah, I love that track, by the way, the Golpe Duro, and it's the story about you, how you play the
Exactly.
congas.
Exactly. So yeah, it's basically the story of Little Johnny.
Awesome.
Y se repite la historia. Dime tu nombre en el cuero. Pequeño Johnny, pequeño Johnny.
So tell us, how can we get the album? Where can we get it?
Yes, very important. I almost forgot about that. You can find the album all digital platforms, and then if you want the physical copy, you could get it on littlejohnny.com, which is my website. If
Right.
not, you can also find it the physical in Amazon.
And have you done any vinyls? Have you printed any vinyls?
Oh, that's another good question. So check this out. I had a meeting maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. I've been having a lot of meetings, but I think 2 weeks ago we spoke about the vinyls because I've been getting a lot of emails and a lot of questions about the vinyls,
Yes.
and so it didn't seem like the company is not uncomfortable with that. I think they want to go with the idea. I just think that one step at a time, right? I
Yes.
think we could probably get this through with the vinyl. It seemed pretty positive when we spoke about it. So yeah, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, there's a big
Yeah,
revival of, the people collecting vinyls. So I'm
right.
pretty sure you have a good demand. So,
Yeah, you can also. I have a YouTube channel. I almost forgot to mention. So many things on my mind. So if you go to I have a official Little Johnny Rivero YouTube channel. Subscribe yourself, please. Support
awesome.
this guy right here. He's trying to do the best for the music business, for everyone that loves the music, and yeah, support us, man. It's very very important.
Absolutely. Awesome. So now with this album, I bet you can't wait until we all go back to dancing to live music and performing your new album. So hopefully that's gonna be very soon that you're gonna be touring for us again and showing us your new music. So that'll be great, and hopefully 2021 will be a promising year, we hope. And so, what would be a message that you would like to give to the fans and the salsa dancers and the musicians?
Yeah. For the fans, I would say thank you so much for your love and support. It means a lot to all musicians in the world. I'm not just speaking for me only. I'm speaking in general. Uh, we are blessed to have people like the fans. Fans are fans, and we need to make sure that they are comfortable and happy what we do, which we try to always give them right the 100% on stage. And for the dancers, I would say keep dancing because I'm gonna keep playing. You know what I mean? I still dance.
Awesome.
I still dance my cha 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 and all that kind of stuff. I also wanna for the musicians, there's mad respect to all the musicians in this planet. A shout out to all the new generation musicians, which we have to support them as well.
Yes.
Most of them graduated from college and they play 3 or 4 instruments. They're arrangers and composers. That's a beautiful thing. And I grew up with no school. I'm a street listener, and that's how I taught myself. So it's a blessing for the new generation, right? Go to college and study and graduate. I love you guys so much, and hopefully, right after this, if and God's willing, next year, if the vaccine, everything, whatever happens, we just got to keep strong, man. We have to keep strong, and we need to love each other. We need to like each other. We need to support each other. We need love. Love is the key, man. Love is the key, and I respect that a lot. I pray. I love Jesus Christ. I think that's the love that I have in me, in a humble way I would say it, and that's the only way we should, continue with this life that we're living.
Yeah.
This love, light, and blessings.
Blessings. Thank you so much. That was beautiful. Thank you, Johnny. Really appreciate it. And yes, so all the best for what's coming. And obviously, if we don't have you on stage playing, we know that you can dance, so we'll grab you onto the dance floor as well.
I just want to say it's my pleasure again. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this interview. I'm sure a lot of people will, and hopefully next year I can see you and hug you and thank you again, and even dance. Uh,
Definitely. I know that if I don't see you playing, I'm definitely gonna grab you for a dance. So
if you speak to Watusi, if you speak to him, please give him my love. I'm going to call him now and let him know the great interview you just gave me.
thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Johnny. All the
You're
best.
welcome.